So that's what our whole summer series is about, to kind of show people all the things that we do. It's a 2-day project, and that's what a lot of these farms are. You don't think that some of the stuff is over your head, or say, hey, you know, that's just too much, I can't do that, I don't have time to do that. Hey everyone, Lee Lakoskey here, and thanks again for tuning in. Again, we're looking for specific deer, and this is actually a small farm that we never really put a whole bunch of attention to. We bought it because it was real close to some of our other farms. And you know, since it's very small, you know, and a lot of it's open crop ground and stuff, we've always had a feeder out here and always had some good bucks here, but you're thinking, well, the neighbors are probably gonna shoot those. Let's just see what happens. And really for the last 2 years that we've had this, all the best deer are still here through the season and, you know, shed season. And so we're like, hey, either you got neighbors that don't hunt, although we, you know, when we bought it, we did see some stands and blinds and stuff on neighboring properties. So it's either one of two things. Either they don't hunt that much or they're real good hunters. And if they are, I appreciate that for you guys, because there's some bucks here. There's like last year, there was a 4-year-old that we've been watching for 2 years and was just a beautiful buck. I couldn't blame anybody if they would shoot him. But we had him out of that, Tiffany and I, and we're sitting in that blind right up here, and he was out at 30 yards. Like, man, he's got so much mass and just such a beautiful frame and everything that he's gonna be a giant. So it was great to see that these deer are getting through. So we thought this year we better put more attention on this farm and do some stuff to it. So that's what we're gonna do today. So thanks for tuning in again, and let's get to it. Now, we've been hunting this. We just kind of stayed out on the edges. You know, because like back here it's a bunch of CRP and a creek bottom and stuff, and this is where all the deer are coming from, so it's kind of nice. You can know, okay, if we have any south wind, we can always hunt this farm because they come from the south. Up to the north is basically just big ag fields and then the road. So you know what wind to hunt it on. So we always just kind of stayed out on the edges, and the one thing about this farm is like, you get pictures of all these deer, but most of them are at night. A lot of them were after dark, and even times when we hunted here, you know, for a couple of these bucks, we didn't hunt it very often. But there's another 5-year-old, we call it Splits, and you know, we kind of were hunting him just to kind of get a look at him. We didn't know if we'd shoot him or not, but once we laid eyes on him, we would know for sure. But he made it through as well, and we never did see him. And really through the whole year, we only had like 1 or 2 daylight pictures of him. So that's what we're talking about today. Okay, now this farm is worth spending some time on. And there was a giant 6x6 with stickers on, but he disappeared. I'm assuming one of the neighbors shot him. And again, he was only a 4-year-old, and you know, it's the kind that you would just really wish would make it. And here we've got at least 2 of them through. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna go look. Back here, there's a creek. This is where they're all coming from. So we're gonna try to move 1 step closer to their bedding area. You can see this has already been established as a trail that they use a ton. See, when you get in here, I mean, these highways are just pounded through here. And like I said, there hasn't been a feeder out here, you know, since September of last year. So they're still using this. That's why we have the stand right there, which we've never hunted yet. And that's good. See, we want these deer to stay on the west side of this ditch. You can see there is some trails going up that way, but if we put a food source on this side and block that side off, we'll just influence them more and more and more to be using this side. Yes, we'll just mow this out too and make sure we give them an easy access to this corner. See, that was the thing is, a lot of these trees on these ditches, they grow out towards the sun, and so many of them are leaning. So that's the hard thing about finding, you know, a good tree in these ditches like this that's good and straight. So let's hope that we can find something. Like I said, this ditch goes like this and it curves around. So it looks perfect that we can get a nice food plot right in here. We don't have to get too close to the bedding area, because I think a lot of them might even bed in this grass, but there's a creek back there in that, so we don't want to get too close to that. We want that still to be the safe zone back there. But we want to catch them coming out of there to our food plot here before they go out there and catch them early. So that's our plan on this. Let's just see if we can keep our fingers crossed and find that tree. Yes, look at that. Unbelievable. Perfect trees, look at that. I mean, they're straight enough, but you got several big trees right there that kind of give you good cover there. It's fairly close to that corner. We got the crossing right there where we need to get tractors through. And you can see how all this, we burned this, you can see how all this switch and stuff is growing up. This is gonna be 4 feet taller when we get here, but what we'll do is we'll make a nice food plot right here to the corner. And like I said, any west wind is basically south right now, and since this goes, they'll be going right down this tree line, you'll catch anything in here before it, especially during the rut. You can see a whole big thing. I can just see this right now during the rut. You have bucks chasing does around in here, to be able to rattle and get them coming in from a long way. So this works out just perfect, just exactly the way we wanted it. And the big tree was the key. And that's so, it seems so elementary, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you got to have a tree. I can't tell you how many people, and myself, how many times I've done this, you know, years ago. You find a perfect spot for a food plot, get it all in and everything, and then you start looking around, you're like, oh man, there's no trees here to get a stand in. You know, you might have the food plot in the right position, but if you can't hunt it, what's the sense? So the very first thing you want to do is to find a tree, and I can't say that enough, but if it keeps one person from making that mistake, it's worth it. So here we go, it's like perfect. Right on the edge. You see it's right on the creek bottom here. You can pop out of this, just walk right down to the bottom, walk it out to our entrance, and walk out. I mean, look at that. We'll clear some of these roots out of here, but we'll make we'll do like a blockade out here, and probably along that edge too. We can walk in this ditch, pop up on that side. We probably don't even need to. You see how tall that grass is, all the CRP grass over on that side. But either way, we'll probably come in and put some kind of a screen up here to make sure you can get in and out and drop straight down into the creek and walk it out. We can either walk it that way. I think that way is our entrance where we're gonna get, I'm gonna take the skid steer and make the entrance a little bit better to get a tractor in here to get a food plot in here. But so once we get in here, out over in there, we're home free for exit and exit into here. This is actually better than I thought. Now look at this. And this is our entrance. This is right where I shot my turkey this year. And this is just the entrance from the big fields here. And that tree is literally right there that we talked about. And so you look at this, we can go right down our east fence line here, put a row of miscanthus, you know, 20 yards out. An e-bike, I might just drive right on the other side of that, right to the creek, pop in the creek, walk down to the waist, pop up into that stand. It's gonna be money right here. Okay, if those bucks are in here, still, we're gonna kill them back in here. I'm about guaranteed. Go make it the crossing here. And that's what you just love about having your own farm. It's just, you know, it's work, but you know, is it really? I just love this stuff. You know, coming out right now, planning something out, just a big chess match. Say, okay, how are we gonna get these things in their home turf? And some of the day where they live every day, how are we gonna outsmart these things? And that's just the awesome part about it, is the chess match. You know, just trying to figure them things out, because man, just anytime you think you've got them figured out, they'll prove you wrong almost every time on it. So when you do get it right, you know, it sure feels good. We'll make a long-term solution, but right now it's short-term. That's gonna serve this purpose for us right now to get in and get the work done we need to. So get in here and knock this thing out. Okay, well, that about wraps it up for today. We got a lot accomplished on this, and especially just coming into it, not having to walk back there, just hoping that there'd be a good tree. We found two. We got it all mowed out. We got creek crossings made. We got the feeder out. We got a ton of stuff done today. Tomorrow we'll try to get stands up, get that thing planted, get the barriers planted. Really, it's a 2-day project, and that's what a lot of these farms are. People look at them and think it's just, oh, that's too big of a project for me to do, but really, you got a tractor, you need a couple of things, and you don't always have to buy them. I mean, you can rent these, like a skid steer, for a couple $100 a day, and really, 1 day is all we needed to make creek crossings, so I can get tractors in there and everything else. So, You don't think that some of the stuff is over your head, or say, hey, you know, that's just too much, I can't do that, I don't have time to do that. Really, you'll see after we're done tomorrow, that thing will be completed. And that, you know, you can go out, anybody can go out on a weekend and do that. So that's what I'm just trying to encourage everybody, is just like, you know, so many people see that, you know, oh geez, you know, it must be nice to have a place and do all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, but it just takes a little bit of work to do it. You can have that too. So that's what our whole summer series is about, to kind of show people all the things that we do to shoot these deer. It's not like you always say, it's not like you blow the dust off your bow on October 1st. Oh yeah, it's opening today, let's go get in the stand and shoot a big one. It's all preparation through the whole summer. And I understand, you know, I was the same way. I had jobs, you know, and we had kids and everything else, and it's like, time is so short, but really, like I said, we got so much done in one day, and tomorrow we'll have it finished. It's a weekend job to do something like this, just to basically totally transform a farm from that's, hey, it's an okay farm, it's got some good deer on it, to something that's going to be, if those deer are there, it's going to be like almost a 100% guarantee you're going to get a shot at one of those deer. So we'll pick it back up again tomorrow, and we'll see you then. All right, we're back here on day 2, working on this little food plot on this small farm here. I got Tiffany and the kids coming here to help me plant this miscanthus. I got the rototiller hooked up. We got a little bit of a late start today because I got my buddies Drake and Justin from Vitality Visions. They've been friends of mine for a long time. We worked together filming and other things, but they work for Skip Sly over in Western Iowa a ton, but they're unreal at doing TSI work. Just short-handed here. So those things that we normally have time to do, you know, all the TSI work and hinge cutting and, you know, CRP work and all that stuff. I know that, you know, their business now is doing that, so if anybody's interested in that, we'll put their numbers up on the screen here. If you're anywhere in Iowa, they pretty much go anywhere, but they're unreal, fast, efficient, know exactly what they're doing, and been perfect at everything that they've done for me working over on our farms over here. So you want to check them out. But right now, what we're gonna do is, I picked out my trees yesterday for where we're gonna get stands in. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put a big wall here of miscanthus. Not, you know, it'll take a couple of years, but by the 3rd year, it'll be, you know, 7-8 feet tall. And so I put it right up against this, against the tree line here. And so that we can sneak out when we get down, it would give us a nice block here from deer. Literally, we should be able to get into the stands even with deer in here. But so we're gonna get started on that right away. I'm gonna just take this Valentini rototiller and just make my path on here. We'll get started on this and get that planted. I don't want to leave this blank and then not plant it until August. I want them finding it now and starting to use this. So what I'm going to do is anytime you got like grass like this, I like putting in soybeans like you know, early in the spring like this, just so that it breaks up. If it's anything that you've had sod in, just so that those roots of those beans were good to break up that sod and prep the ground for it. But then I can also use like an E3 bean, so I can spray it with Roundup and 2,4-D and make sure I can really smoke all the weeds in here. It gives me the whole summer, have beans growing, roots are busting up the soil. I can spray it a couple times over the top, all that I need to, because the grass can keep coming and coming, especially where you rototill some of it up. There's 1,000 years of weed seed in here and switchgrass seed and everything else. So I want to keep killing that as it comes up. And then I'll have a nice clean slate by the time we get to, you know, August, we want to plant it. Then I'll come in probably with a disc and disc it up really nice, or the rototiller because it's small enough, and just get rid of the beans, and I'll plant my clover in here real heavy. And that's very important. It's the very first time when something calls for 8 pounds per acre or 10 pounds per acre, I'll double it. I'll do 16 to 20. And just make sure you get it down good and thick. It won't have any weed competition when that comes up, and you'll be way better off by just doubling your amount of seed you're putting down. And so I'll put a good base of clover in here, and then I'll come with like the G10, and over the top of it put Amazing Grains. So the Amazing Grain mix will act as, you know, it'll be a cover crop for my clover in the spring, and then I'll just mow off and spray the the wheat and oats and that in next spring, and we'll have a beautiful clover field in here. So, like I said, I don't want to keep it vacant. I want deer using it now, so you want to put soybeans in here, put something in here so they have a food source in here and they're using something. And beans, like I said, are the perfect one because you got all summer to control the weeds. So by the time you go into it in the fall, you got a good, pretty clean slate here to work with. See, your feet sink it, it feels nice and soft under your feet. So at least we want, when that thing goes through, it'll dig a nice trough in there like that. And so when you just throw them in, and then we can just stomp on with your feet, and then somebody maybe come behind with one of these rakes and just make sure you got, you know, dirt over the top of them. Hey dudes and dudettes. We got the cavalry here to help, huh?
Yep.
Little warm out today, isn't it? Now it doesn't look like the rain's gonna hit us either. So we're kind of stewed on this. Hey there.
Hi.
Hi.
We did bring you some sandwiches.
Oh, good.
I didn't even know this existed back here, honestly, because I hunted this farm a few times last year. And when we sat in that redneck, you always felt like you were out of the loop. You were just like an observation. I didn't feel like it was ever a killing.
Yeah, it's mostly for a muzzleloader.
Watch.
It's made for a muzzleloader. That's kind of what we were doing. Although the big 6x6 did come within 30 yards.
Yeah, 30 yards.
But,
I mean, that was like kind of a fluke. I mean, it never happened again after that, but I mean.
We only hunted it a couple times. But you know, they're all bedding down in the creek bottoms. So if they weren't coming out there, you know, during daylight and stuff, they got to be.
They would come out there, but it was usually later. So they were, who knows how long they're back here for.
So that's the thing, we needed to have a food source here, and there's a tree we picked here. But you see how we cut those lanes? We're gonna put miscanthus around, and you can, like from here, you can walk down and get right in the creek bottom, go right to the crossing, and just walk right out.
That's awesome.
I'll back up to that thing. We have the kids sit on that thing probably just to
I
get
know,
that
like
groove.
We're very happy that it's like the hottest day of like the summer so far. It's like, come and plant miscanthus. Like, we can't wait, right? She's like, come. I'm so excited.
Hey, Cameron and Reggie, you guys have a very important job to do. All right. What? Snacking on the job? I don't get to snack on the job. Oh, well, thank you. Okay, want to sit right there, Reg? There you go. See, that's not such a hard job. All you gotta do is sit there, right?
So your legs for chiggers and ticks? Yeah, that's a little big, not bad. Cool. You're like, already?
Yep. You just throw them in about a foot apart. Done.
That looks like a...
They look like turkey feet. Excuse me, Regs. Stomp and cover. Same way we'll do pumpkins.
Good job, Reggie.
So if you guys want to go back, that's enough for a day. It's going to be heat stroke. I'll just go around this and scratch it up a little bit, and we'll be money on this spot. Thank you, guys. You may have me talking to get in a pool next year for us after these days. So, all right. Well, why don't you guys head back, and then I'll just run over this stuff, and I'll see you back at the house.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I gotta go shift some hats out.
Okay. Let's go with my buddy Joel's over with a mini excavator, cleaning up. Oh, we have so many places where tree branches have just grown into the road where I can't get the sprayers through, and you can't get cars through, and your trucks through. And check him out and see how far he's getting along on that. Yeah, this should be good for several years now.
Well, they say teamwork makes the dream work.
You're right.
So here we are.
Early today before it gets 95 degrees again. We should finish up this project on this farm today. We got kind of everything set. We're just gonna get the tree stand up right here, just so we have that up. And then I'll just plant this in beans. But other than that, get this stand up and finish this and move on to the next farm. Why is it nice doing it now instead of at 90 degrees? Yeah, that was like a dream setup. I mean, you pop right out and boom, get behind that, straight out.
Nice setup.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, it's great up there. All right, well, let's get that G5 rolling.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, we got everything done. We're just throwing some beans in here. Like I said, we just want to use some E3 beans in here. It's not what we don't expect it to be a big crop in here because it's a small field, but these drills have been awesome. I mean, on this thing, they've got a sheet in there. They've basically tested every single seed that's on the market, that you can buy off a shelf, every mix. And so they have a sheet that'll kind of give you a cheat sheet of stuff. Like if your mix isn't on there, you can pick one that's similar to it. So at least you kind of have an idea where to start. But then like for us, sometimes we want to put them on heavier. So I'll just go, okay, let me go a little bit wider or bigger on that. And then you just weigh it out and you can get exactly, it literally takes 2 minutes. And so whatever mix you have, you can get the pounds per acre exact. And that you can't do with any other drill that I've ever seen. And that's why I really like this PH Outdoors, the G8s or the G10s. And with wildlife farming, one-stop shop. You go wildlife farming, you look it up online, everything you'd ever want for food plots is in there. You got one place to go for it, one place to call if you need service or if you have questions about something, they'll always answer and walk you right through everything. So let's get in and get this baby rolling.